A Black Thursday on the history of Ghana's politics. One of the women who stood as pillars in Ghana's politics is no more. Former First Lady Nana Konadu Rawlings is reported dead. Today on the Citiuation, we pay tribute to the former First Lady who was First Lady of this country for 19 years and has history as far as Ghana's politics is concerned. Also, the new Patriotic Party is also in the news. Remember, the party is also preparing for its January 31st primaries to elect a flag bearer for the party. Just today, some 63 members of parliament have officially declared their support for the former presidential candidate of the party, Dr. Bawumia, and say they will go all out to campaign for him to be the party's presidential candidate in the 2028 general election. These are the two issues we are looking at on Citiuation Room today. My name is Sami Wiafe. You're welcome back. You're still watching the Citiuation Room, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. A sad moment here in Ghana. Former First Lady Nana Konadu Rawlings is no more. We had reports this afternoon that she died, and the government has issued an official statement announcing the passing of the former First Lady of the Republic, the former wife of former President Jerry John Rawlings. Now, a statement from government says, and I read, it says, government announces with deep sorrow or deep regret and profound sorrow the untimely passing of the former First Lady, Nana Konadu Rawlings, who also happens to be the founder of the 31st December Women's Movement, Her Excellency, Mrs. Nana Konadu Rawlings. Mrs. Rawlings passed this morning after a short illness. Government extends profound condolence to her immediate family. We are told this afternoon as well that the family of the former First Lady have been to the Jubilee House to officially inform the President about the passing of the former First Lady, Nana Konadu Rawlings, who in 2016 made an attempt to be the first female president of the Republic. Today on the Citiuation, we'll focus on the politics of the former First Lady, a strong pillar as far as Ghana's democracy and empowerment of women in this country is concerned. The next part of the show will deal with the NPP and their politics. Some 63 members of parliament just a while ago declared their support for Dr. Bawumia, the party's presidential candidate in the 2024 general election. As you're aware, the party on the 31st of January 2026 will hold a primaries to elect who will lead the party going to the election of 2028. Now, these 63 members of parliament say they are supporting Dr. Bawumia in that bid, and they will go all out to ensure that he becomes the flag bearer of the party in the 2028 general election. We'll get a reaction from the other camps and speak to the various spokesperson what they make of this major endorsement from some minority members of parliament in the chamber. As always, my name is Sami Wiafe, and I'm here with Fred Tete Jamano. Fred, how are you?
I'm doing well, Sami.
A sad moment in Ghana.
Yes, a very sad day for Ghanaians, for the fact that we've lost a woman who has played a very pivotal role in the Fourth Republic of Ghana's existence, the former First Lady, Nana Konadu Rawlings. Nana Konadu Rawlings has been on the screens
since
in Ghana since we were kids. I mean, I'm sure people who were in there from 79, she was there in 79 with her husband, back in 81, from 81, 82, all the way to 2001, all the way to this very day of October 2025. Nana Konadu Rawlings has been one person who has shaped the politics of this country, especially with the involvement of women. We cannot talk about the Fourth Republic, the politics within the Fourth Republic, the role of women, and take out Nana Konadu Rawlings. She has been a very a critical member of the movement which shaped the discussions and the discourse of women in Ghana's politics. Started with her husband in the military regime, moved to 1982 when he returned after handing over to a civilian government, came back in the dying days of 1981, 31st December 82, he took over. Nana Konadu Rawlings, since that time, had been very instrumental. She set up the 31st December Women's Movement, which was the wing of that regime, which promoted women's activities, activism, giving more empowering women to reach heights that maybe they hadn't reached in a long time. Nana Konadu Agyeman Rawlings did not just end there. Even with the running of the PNDC, even though she was not directly involved, or you're not going to see her at the forefront of the running of the government of the PNDC, she was very influential, very powerful. What did she do? With the introduction of people we now respect in our Fourth Republic, somebody like PV Obiang, somebody like the Ahoys, some people like the Ahoys. Nana Konadu is one of the people who brought some of these people into contact with her husband. Because don't forget, somebody like PV Obiang was then the SRC president of KNUST. At the time, Nana Konadu was serving as secretary whilst they were at KNUST. It was through this students' activism. So you realize that her politics even started way before the Fourth Republic. It started when there was another regime, military regime, where she was in students' activism. So she got into contact with people like PV Obiang, Atu Ahoy, and all these other people who ended up becoming the intellectual group within the PNDC. So you should also credit her when it comes to even the military regime and how she got involved, how she shaped Ghana's future, Ghana's present through the military regime from 82 all the way to 92. After 91 into 92, when we're going into now civilian rule, she stood behind her husband, Jerry John Rawlings, ran campaigns with her husband, going to every corner of this country, preaching the NDC agenda. Nana Konadu managed being by the side of her husband, Jerry John Rawlings, to win the 92 elections. He became the first civilian president in the Fourth Republic. He won the 96 elections. After 96 into 2000, where they lost the 2000 elections. After losing the 2000 election, in the reorganization of the NDC, she didn't go quiet. She was seen, she participated, she was in all events, public events of the NDC. She was in meetings where senior NDC members had to sit and strategize. In 2004,
I'm sorry I have to do this, but forgive me. We'll come back and come and discuss it. Let's go to the home of the former First Lady, and our colleague Fauzu Masa Awudu is there, brings us an update on the situation in the House. Fauzu, if you can hear me, thank you very much for that. Paints for us a general mood in the House.
Right. Thank you very much, Sammy. It's a largely tranquil atmosphere here at the Rawlings residence, where Nana Konadu Agyeman Rawlings and a husband of blessed memory, we understand, called home. The place is situated just a few minutes to the Ridge Hospital. That's the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, where the former First Lady reportedly passed away. We are not seeing, quite a lot of people are not really present. Security is tight. Just a few members of the family, and we understand a few notable persons trickling in and out of the house in their vehicle. Yeah, so that's generally the atmosphere here at the residence of the Rawlings.
We're told that the children were at the Jubilee House to officially inform the presidency about the passing, and then there's a statement. And then, have you seen them come back home? Have you seen relatives also joining them? And then have we by chance seen anything like this?
Yeah, when we got here, we picked that they had returned from the Jubilee House back to the house. But just a few minutes ago, a number of vehicles, moved out of the house. And we understand that those vehicles were occupied by the children and other family members of the former First Lady.
Fauzu, thank you very much for your time. We'll come back to you again if there's any updates. Fauzu Masa Audu, my colleague here at ChannelOne Television, at the home of the former First Lady Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, the late Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. The family was at the Jubilee House to officially inform the presidency about the passing of the former First Lady, and as Fauzu was telling us, credible information that they are back home arranging with family members to see the way forward as far as, you know, giving her a befitting burial as a former First Lady of this country. First Lady for 19 years, right?
Yes, 19 years.
19 years.
19 years. If you want to add that few months within the AFRC period, will be 19 and some months.
Interesting. So you're telling us, you know, the impact of the 31st December Women's Movement and the likes.
Yes, so I got to 2004.
Yeah.
In 2004, when the NDC was trying to return to power, at the time you had John Evans Atta Mills as the flag bearer or the presidential candidate of the party. During the time for choosing a running mate, Nana Konadu and her husband, Jerry John Rawlings, were one of the people who proposed now President John Dramani Mahama to be his running mate, which we are told that John Dramani Mahama rejected at the time. Fast forward to 2008. Again, President Mills was attempting to get to the presidency again. This time around, Nana Konadu, through her husband, pushed the agenda for Betty Molde Drisu, who was then a very close associate of her, to become running mate. Professor Evans Atta Mills rejected that, and this time around went for John Mahama, who is now president. From 2008, after the NDC returned to power, there were issues as to the relationship between Jerry John Rawlings and John Evans Atta Mills. Nana Konadu was not quiet during that period. She was also very vocal, criticizing the government and everything, to the extent that to the run-up of the 2012 elections, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings decided to contest the sitting president. So for the very first time, a sitting president was contested within the NDC. You had Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings ready to contest. That's where they formed the group Friends of Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, called FONCA, against Get Atta Mills Elected game. That was a very intense campaign. People even believe that that campaign would have broken or destroyed or divided the NDC, looking at the fact that the Nana Konadu was the one involved, the wife of the founder of the party. She lost that particular election. After losing that particular election, she decided that enough was enough. She was moving from the NDC to form a new party. That
was the National Democratic Party, NDP.
The NDP, some few months before the 2012 elections. Yeah. She got out of the 2012 elections, couldn't contest that particular elections, went into the 2016 elections still as the leader of the NDP. You recall that when the Electoral Commission released the list of people who could contest this particular election, her name was missing. There was an issue, they had to go to court and everything. After that, she found her name on the ballot. She contested, lost. In 2020, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings could not make an attempt at the presidency. In 2024, she did not. But during this period, she was still very influential within the political space, because then she was speaking. Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings and her husband had been serious critics of the NPP, especially John Ejekum Kufuor and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. But at the latter part of their lives, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, Jerry John Rawlings, they became very close associates of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Yeah. In fact, John Ejekum Kufuor, whose tenure where Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings was about to be prosecuted, there were concerns and reports indicating that...
Fred, I'll let you hold on again. Dr. Ekospio Graba, one of the, the big pillars within the National Democratic Congress, has been to the home of the former First Lady and then has been speaking to journalists in the home. Let's go back to Fauzu and pick that feed.
Similar incidents where a close friend, a close relative may also depart. And so when such incidents take place, we often are left with grief and all kinds of emotions run into our heads. Eventually, in many cases, the truth comes out and we come to terms with it. At this time, I've not come to terms with this truth, so I can only express my grief and my sorrow if it turns out to be true, and wish the family and all of us in Ghana and the whole of Africa really our condolences if it turns out to be true.
Doc, what principles and, if you like, moral, standards of the former First Lady as a key member of the NDC are you able to most reflect on?
There's a lot to reflect on, a lot to be said at the right time. But her greatness has not been fully appreciated, partly because of the circumstances in which NDC lost power and the unfortunate developments that took place after we lost power with her 31st December Women's Movement being investigated in a very unfriendly manner by the Kufuor government at the time. The fact that she had to go to court for many years, and even her late former husband, President Rawlings, also had to be in court, sometimes standing for many hours. It was a low moment in Ghana's democratic development. But NDC has won power and lost power, and we've seen at different times when the former President Rawlings was also alive, he tried to restrain himself with many of the negative things that are going on in our country and which were going on at the time he was alive. And I believe the former First Lady also was very mindful of those things. But as I said, the time will come for us to speak at length. So at this time, I'll just plead with you to allow us and the rest of the country to verify actually what has happened. And as I've said, if it is true, then obviously we'll have to mourn her in a very special way. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So that's Dr. Spiogabra, former Trade Minister and also a former presidential, aspirant for the National Democratic Congress. I mean, a flag bearer hopeful, I mean. So we are still coming to you live from the rest.
Dr. Spiogabra, a strong
yes,
the National Democratic
yes.
Congress, at the home to sympathize with the family.
Very close to the family.
We should be seeing more of these people, yes. Go into their home.
So Spiogabra, you recall from 2008 to 2012, when Professor Mills was president, he was one of the few people who were part of the Rawlings agenda. So the Team A, Team B people. So he was one of the few people who rallied around Jerry John Rawlings and Nana Konadu Rawlings, pushing their agenda, and that's how this thing they got to this place.
You're still watching The Situation. We're coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. You're where former First Lady Nana Konadu Rawlings is no more. We are in the home of the former First Lady to give you an update on the situation. As and when we get an update, our man Fauzu Masaudu is there. We'll go to him. He'll bring us the latest from the home. More and more big wigs within the National Democratic Congress and the government will be tripping into the home to sympathize with the family following the passing of the former First Lady Nana Konadu Rawlings. But aside that, I also told you that we are going to do the New Patriotic Party as well. Some 63 members of parliament have fully declared their support for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia to be the party's leader again, or the party's flag bearer, or the party's presidential candidate into the election of 2028. This is the situation. We'll go for a quick, but when we come back, we'll start a conversation about the New Patriotic Party. Welcome back. You're still watching The Situation. We're coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. As I told you earlier, two issues we are looking at today: the passing of the former First Lady Nana Konadu Ajimai Rawlings, and some 63 members of parliament declaring their support or throwing their weight behind Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia to be the party's presidential candidate for the 2028 general election. We've been having conversation, Fred and I, about the passing of the former First Lady. We've been to the home of the former First Lady at Ridge to bring you an update. Our colleague Fauzu Masa Awodu is there to bring us an update of the situation. Some key dignitaries or key individuals or personalities within the NDC as a political party have been trooping in and out of the homes to sympathize with the family. Already the family has been to the Jubilee House to officially inform the president about the passing of the former First Lady, who was First Lady of this country for 19 solid years. Aside that, let's talk about the NPP now. Just before we came on air, some members of parliament on the minority side, they say 63 of them declared their support for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia to be the party's presidential candidate again for the 2028 general election. At a news conference, the member of parliament for Mampon, Kweku Aprechim Sapon, addressed the journalists in parliament and officially made the declaration that 63 of them are throwing their weight behind Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
With me here are some members of the team of MPs that are supporting Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. It's not everybody who is here. Others are engaged in committee meetings. Others have traveled. But the leadership of Bawumia's team in all the regions are here with me. In every generation, the new patriotic party has risen on the shoulders of visionaries such as Dankwa, Buzia, and Dombo, men who believed in freedom, democracy, rule of law, and development through enterprise. Today, that proud tradition finds new strength and purpose in Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. He represents the enduring spirit of our party. He's visionary, resilient, diligent, and pragmatic. He represents, from his days as a brilliant economist at the Bank of Ghana to his service as vice president under Nana Akufo-Addo, Dr. Bawumia has proven that leadership is not about words but work, not about entitlement but excellence and delivery. He has brought clarity to governance, inspired innovation, built systems that work through Ghana's digital transformation, financial inclusion, and modernization of public service delivery. Dr. Bawumia is a leader who respects our history, yet reimagines our future. He has walked with the new patriotic party through every season of victory and challenge, serving faithfully, defending our record, and carrying our message with conviction and grace. He has been tested, trusted, and proven. Today, over 60 members of parliament, in fact, it's 63 precisely, out of the 87 minority members in parliament, stand together in unity and conviction to make this clarion call. We declare our total and unwavering support for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia as the next flag bearer of our great party. We make this declaration not out of sentiment, but from deep conviction. We have seen his work, his discipline, his resilience, and his readiness to serve. We believe that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia embodies the next chapter of the NPP's vision, a future built on competence, innovation, unity, and hope. We affirm that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is not just the candidate who can unite our party. He is the leader who can win the confidence of Ghanaian people and secure victory for the NPP in 2028 and beyond.
That's Kweku Aprechim Sapon. He's the member of parliament for the Mampon constituency and the former deputy minister for foreign affairs, declaring in parliament today that some 63 members of parliament have officially declared their support to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Let's go on Zoom and speak to a member of parliament representing the people of the Impriso constituency. I didn't hear his name, but I want to ask him if indeed he's part of the 63 members of parliament who are declaring their support for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia in the party's January 31st, 2026 presidential primaries. Davis Opoku Ansa is a member of parliament for the Impriso constituency. Davis, thank you very much for your time. Are you one of the 63 members of parliament, or you are one of the 2 invisible MPs who have declared their support, but yet they do not want to come to the media space?
Sammy, I think first of all, on behalf of the Brand Champion campaign team, I wish to express our deepest condolences to the family of the late Nana Konadu Rawlings. In fact, Ghana has lost an extraordinary woman whose life was defined by courage, service, and an unyielding commitment to the advancement of women and the less privileged. I mean, we remember Nana Konadu for the 31st December Women's Movement, how she transformed lives and gave countless voices and platforms to stand tall in our national development. So, to the Rawlings family, my very own Dr. Zenato Ajimai Rawlings and her siblings, we share in your grief and we stand with you during this difficult moment. That said, Sammy, I would have wagered that today we did not do any partisan politics. We focused mainly on the death of our dear mother. But I know that some of my colleagues have organized press conference, and we live in a community or in a country where people have the right to express themselves. I mean, people have the right to choice, and if members of parliament so decide that they want to support a particular candidate, I think they are within their right to do so. The only disturbing or the worrying bit is that usually we see the same 15, 20 faces. Some will go and chant in offices. I think this is about the 4th time those 15 to 20 faces have organized press conferences in this country declaring support. I mean, at the end of the day, we have a country to govern. We are members of parliament. Everybody knows where anybody stands. And for me, this continuous attempt at organizing press conferences in this continuous manner clearly shows that there's some fear somewhere, and people feel that this constant reminder that some 63 MPs, when press conferences are called and you see only 18 of them, or sometimes 14, banging and chanting and I mean, doing these things, it's normal. I mean, in this game of politics, I mean, anything should be expected. So we are not worried. The campaign is not worried. The campaign is focused. We've been to the Eastern region, massive endorsement. We were in Greater Accra, camps got shaken. We are in Ashanti region today, and the delegates, the party people, the over 220-something thousand people who will be electing the next flag bearer of the party are speaking. I mean, they have a choice. It is not what somebody says in Accra and organizes a press conference and mobilizes some 15 to 20 MPs. That is not what matters to us. For us, it's about a larger group. Those who are going to elect the flag bearer of the party, they know that they need a flag bearer who can secure them victory. They know that they need a flag bearer who can ensure that it leads to the things that it says. They know that they need a flag bearer who would have ideas and would have to put into action his ideas, and that is what they see. I mean, somebody who has created jobs, real jobs, not creating jobs that at the end of the day you're unable to get even the funds to pay. That is not what we are talking about. They are talking about real jobs. Somebody who is affecting the economy of this country in terms of ICT, in terms of hospitality, in terms of the real estate industry. That is what the delegates want, and they see it, they sense it, they smell it, they I mean, they are seeing it real, and that is why a lot of them are clamoring for Brian Champon, and you see MPs on a monthly basis declaring support, declaring same faces all the time on our screen declaring support. That is not what we need. They should get to the grounds and campaign. That is what matters. and not this continuous press conference. I mean, we ought to even be sensitive to the issues that happen. Immediately, former First Lady dies, you call a press conference, and to what end? If this is not panic reaction, then I do not know what this is all about.
Okay.
Yes, so Davis, you have said these people should get to the constituencies to campaign, but you know that you as MPs hold a lot of influence within the constituencies. So if you have a number of people, your colleagues, throwing their support behind one particular candidate, shouldn't it be a cause of worry? Because if I'm very influential, the number of people I speak to, the number of people I'm able to convince draws away from the other candidates. Shouldn't it be a cause of worry for you?
Well, you see, as for influence, everybody has influence. The member of parliament certainly would have some influence in his constituency. Same way the constituency chairman will also have some influence. And of course, even members of the Council of Elders and Council of Patrons, some of them wield a lot of influence, even more and better than the MPs and all of that. But that said, we should not also create an impression that the polling station officers, who are in the majority, about 95% going to take a decision on January 31st, are some zombies, and that it is what the MP says, that is what they will follow. For instance, in my constituency, in the last elections, I mean, Dr. Bawumia won in my constituency. and it is not because of lack of my influence. Of course, I mean, when it got to that stage, my candidate had dropped out, but he won in my constituency. And people wanted to use that, capitalize that to, use that against me in my primaries. It didn't work. I got close to about 80% of the votes. But that's what I'm saying, that for every election, let us not think that the polling station officers who have the power do not have a mind of their own. And every month we will be organizing press conferences to remind them that MPs have decided, MPs have decided. It doesn't work that way. If you have declared, declare and go and work. These monthly press conferences reminding Ghanaians that you have declared, to what end?
Okay.
That's not what the people want. I mean, what they want is a leader who can secure them victory.
Okay.
That is what they want. It's about power.
Okay, Davis, thank you very much. But don't go, just hang in there. We'll come back to you on this. Let's just stay on this subject matter, and let's go on Zoom again. So let's speak to Yao Opoku Mensah. He speaks for Dr. Yao Osei Educhum. He's a member of parliament now for the Bosonchi constituency, former Minister of Education, and also wants to contest to be the next flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party. Let's speak to his spokesperson, Yao Opoku Mensah. On the Yao, your boss, his colleagues in parliament have declared support for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. The belief is that at least, since they are all in parliament, we should also get some members of parliament throw their weight behind your boss. But we are not getting that feeling. Is the camp worried about this?
Good afternoon to yourself and to our lovely viewers and my colleagues on the other line. Where I said it's rather unfortunate. Just this afternoon, the party issued a communique with regards to how engagement is done, and people entrusted with certain form of responsibility will conduct themselves in a certain manner that gives some reputation to the party and ensure that the aspect of the unity core and a clear, clean campaign and a level playing field for all aspirants will be adhered to. But unfortunately, some members of parliament goes to declare support for a particular candidate. We are not perturbed about what they do. This is not the first time. But what we need to realize and understand is that at the end of the day, it is the party that its values, its core values, and its norms are rather dragging the mud. I would have expected that once that communique came out, all people, all individuals entrusted with some responsibilities will adhere and comply and contribute to the healthy engagement that leaders of the party, especially Nana Danko Akufo-Addo some days ago, engaging aspirants on a clean campaign. I was expecting that we don't even have this within the media space to even generate a conversation around it. But that said, it doesn't come as a surprise to us. But the most important aspect has got to do with my candidate, Dr. Yosia Duchum's engagement with the delegates. And it's so fascinating going down there with all the regions that we visited, giving a clearer understanding of why a new dawn is expected in the party. And they are looking for a leader that they can entrust with that responsibility in ensuring that the core tenets and the values of the party is rather maintained with a clear integrity and a proven track record of that individual, and somebody who is a true reformer, who is a generational thinker and gives them what is expected and make sure that their work for 2028 becomes easy for them. And they point fingers at Dr. Yosia Duchum as the man, the main man, to ensure that their work cut out for them as Ghanaians are rather calling on him and ready for the NPP to elect him and embrace him as the leader of the party and eventually elect him as the president of the republic in 2028. So where we sit, we are focused on our campaign. We are focused on the hope message that we are giving out to the delegates.
Okay.
We are focused on the prosperity message that we are preaching out to the delegates. We are focused on building a stronger party, giving a dignified party to the delegates, giving them a dignified life as true patriots, that they will always be proud of their party and wouldn't be seen as election machines and every day be called upon during primaries, but rather give them something sustainable, something that dignifies life, and let them feel that indeed serving the NPP is a true cause and as a means to ensuring that Ghana's accelerated development is achieved. That is the message that we are giving out to them, and that is what they are buying into. All peripheral issues with regard to what we are discussing do not affect whatever we do.
Sure.
Right. Yeah, your boss is a sitting member of parliament. He has colleagues he's been dealing with on a daily basis, going to declare support for another candidate. These colleagues are people who know him in and out. If he's not been able to convince the people he sees each and every day to vote for him, how possible or how easy is it to convince people who do not engage him on a daily basis? Because those people who he's always engaging do not believe that he's the right person, or he's not been able to convince them that he's the right person to lead the party. How is he going to convince others who are quite far that he's the right person?
Now, to you, if you think that the members of parliament that we just were declaring support, having a constant interaction in the media, declaring support, tells you that there is some validity that the very individual that they are declaring support for do not have. And that validity is what Dr. Yosia Duchum already have with the delegates across the length and breadth of the country. And therefore wouldn't require a public spectacle to ensure that that validity is sustained every month so that people will feel that indeed he is the right man for the job or whatever. We are treating this contest purely as an internal engagement, as an internal context, which do not warrant that media colors that we are seeing now. What we're expecting to have was to have a discussion on the visions and the policies of the candidates as we put out, so that delegates will be able to be well informed and take a proper decision. But if it comes that a section of some leaders will constantly be giving us some update on some numbers in terms of validity for a certain candidate, they are within their rights to do so. But as you know, we are looking at over 230,000 delegates. And they form part of that fraction. And that fraction do not determine who eventually leads the party. The fraction that determines who eventually leads the party are at the grassroots. And they are saying Dr. Yosia should be the ultimate in leading the party.
All right. Yao, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. Yao, Opoku Mensah speaks for Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, one of the NPP presidential aspirants, a member of parliament, sitting member of parliament for the Bostonchi constituency in the Ashanti region. Today, his colleagues in parliament declared for another candidate. We're asking his camp if they are worried about this development. Let's go to the camp of Kennedy Ohine Japan. Kwesi Kwati speaks for him. He's also a former member of parliament, for the Asin Central constituency. Why is his own colleagues or former colleagues not endorsing his candidature? Quite a number. At least we know some sitting members of parliament have also decided to throw their weight behind Kennedy Ohine Japan. But the large numbers we are seeing throw their weight behind Dr. Muhammad Bawumia is not what we've seen in the camp of Kennedy Ohine Japan. Let's get some reaction from his camp. And Kwesi Kwati joins us to also tell us what they make of this latest development with the declaration of support by the 63 sitting members of parliament. Kwesi, thank you very much for your time. Is your camp worried?
Sammy, first of all, let me use your platform to express sincere condolences to the Rawlings family. We wish Her Excellency, the First Lady, former First Lady of our country, Her Excellency Nana Konadu Rawlings, a peaceful rest. As a people of culture, and as a people of values, and as a people of morals and sensitivity, one would have expected that moments like this, at least, would have read the mood of the nation. And even if there is such a planned declaration, we should have at least be sensitive to the plight of Ghanaians, because Nana Konadu Rawlings is not just an ordinary Ghanaian. She served this country in many capacities. And so when we heard rumors and news that they are going to make such declaration, of course, I mean, the usual political astroturfing and cosmetic showmanship, we expected that since the news of Mrs. Rawlings' demise broke earlier, they would have at least been sensitive to it. But I mean, it's politics as usual. They don't care. It's all about being in control, keeping control. It's all about making sure that their candidate wins. And we are not perturbed. I mean, of course, they've demonstrated the highest display of insensitivity and disrespect to the former First Lady, whom we just lost. But we'll pretend nothing has happened and move on to the issues. Sammy, the most important point is that January 31st will be a contest between the polling station executives and the former government appointees who neglected them. Because with this abysmal performance that we've never even witnessed in the history of our country, losing 199 constituencies with all the red alert and the cautions. If we have these members of parliament who still believes in the candidature of Dr. Bawumia, then I mean, is a great concern. It should be a great concern to all of us as a party. But my hope and my confidence and my happiness is that 63 even out of 276 constituencies is still a huge number. Assuming without admitting, I'm even surprised. Remember, initially they said they had 67. The subsequent month they said they have 63. As usual daily political astroturfing, cosmetic showmanship, trying to control public perception, all for one man. And I mean, sometimes you realize where they get their confidence from. Of course, I mean, it was even the more reason why people caution against the top-bottom approach, because essentially, as you keep doing this, dividing the party, disuniting the party, trying to take a stance, what essentially also means is that if you do not get a good leader, a leader who does not believe in true unity, he may also come in and decide that, well, I may also want to have my own MPs, and that may not augur well for the party. But for us, we are not perturbed. Our confidence is that over 200,000 polling station executives are poised for change. They are not happy with the current status of the party. They believe that these MPs and former government appointees who led the charge and neglected them should not dictate the pace for them. And 31st January 2026, they are going to speak so stronger. And at the end of the day, I am very confident that they will choose the leader of the masses. So we are happy for them. It's just deep in the thought that everybody have that indeed is an election between the establishment, which is the former appointees, and the polling station executives who were neglected. And we are happy for what they've done. It's good for us by way of strategy.
Kwesi, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. Let's go to the camp of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. They should be smiling by now because 63 members of parliament, and we are told some 2 invisible MPs have also declared their support, making it 65, declaring support for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. And let's go back onto Zoom and speak to Agba Kumani, who is deputy spokesperson for the Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia campaign team. Agba, thank you very much for your time. This must be a happy moment for the camp, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Quite exciting. But I would join my colleagues in condoling with the Rawlings family. May the soul of our mother rest in peace. But it is also quite interesting, listening to my colleagues. If you take Honorable PK, for instance, criticizing his colleagues for what he called monthly, declaration of support for Dr. Bawumia. But at the same time, he's doing daily declaration of support for his candidate. He's a member of parliament who on daily basis is canvassing for his candidate, but he thinks that it is wrong for his colleagues to do a monthly declaration of support for Dr. Bawumia. I think we heard the members of parliament, loud and clear, the basis for their support for Dr. Bawumia. They have stated it unequivocally that they are supporting Dr. Bawumia because of the clarity of his vision, that they are supporting Dr. Bawumia because of his public record of delivery. It is quite interesting. All the 5 presidential aspirants have had the opportunity of occupying public office. Konadu Japan has been press secretary to President Kufuor. Dr. Yao Edichum has been deputy education minister and minister. So for the 8 years, he was part of government. Dr. Brian Achampong, for 6 of the 8 years of the Kufuor government, he was part, first as national security and later as a Greek minister. Kennedy Ajapong has been member of parliament for 24 years. He's occupied public office for 24 years. He's been board chairman and member of the Kufuor government for 8 years. Dr. Bawumia has been deputy governor. He has been vice president. And we can tell that of these 5 people, it is Dr. Bawumia who has made significant impact in the public space. If I were to list the number of initiatives, policy initiatives Dr. Bawumia led, right from the Bank of Ghana all the way to his era as Vice President of the Republic, we will lose count of them. And so the members of parliament are in this country. They have worked with all the 5 people. They have seen all the 5 people in parliament, in public office. And they can tell that if we truly want somebody who can lead the transformation of our country, it has to be Dr. Bawumia. If you ask, for instance, Kwesi Kwarteng to tell you in 24 years, whether his candidate has led any significant policy discourse on the floor of parliament, he will not be able to tell you. Not in the debate for budgetary approvals, not in leading a private the sponsoring of a private member's bill, not any significant articulation of policy either on the floor of parliament or outside parliament.
Sammy, do we have the same time? Because I caution you against this.
But of course, I mean, if let me speak, I was quiet. So if you look at it in terms of who can truly impact the country, you're definitely going to go in for Dr. Bawumia. The argument that, well, these members of parliament and former people neglected, look, there's no aspirant in this race who has not served in government, including Kweku Kwarteng himself. He was a member of government. What did he do for the grassroots? The candidate he's speaking for was chairman of Ghana Gas for 8 years. He was chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament. Okay. All right? There are former members of government who are supporting his candidate. There's a deputy, former finance minister, I think 2 of them, deputy trade minister. Other important, I think that we got to respect the democratic right of people to make their decisions and not begin to antagonize them because they have made one decision that we do not like. In any case, on daily basis, they tell us people who support their candidates. We do not antagonize them. We recognize the fact that the NPP is a democratic party and people are entitled to make decisions. Apart from the question of vision, Dr. Bawumia has integrity. And Sammy, you would agree that integrity is crucial. I thought we are using the same time, Sammy.
Even before you conclude, Fred has a quick question for you before you conclude.
Yes, Akbar, you have mentioned a number of things your MP has done. I mean, your candidate has done. In the last few months, this is the second time you have seen a number of MPs coming publicly to declare their support for your candidate. People believe that this is a sign of desperation. This is a sign where you need these people to openly come out to speak and to declare support so that your campaign can keep on running. There are people who believe that your campaign is suffering and you need some of these people to do that to keep you going.
So, look, those who would make that assertion are those who have not followed the politics of the NPP. If you have followed the politics of the NPP, OPK is here. We've been doing this since 2007, and he knows that members of parliament have always decided a candidate and have always advocated for the candidate publicly. It has never been a sign of a struggling campaign. The members of parliament did it for Kufuor. They did it for Akufo-Addo in 2007, in 2011, in 2024. They did it for Dr. Bawumia in 2023. They are doing it because, like the MP said, at every material moment, the party is clear on who they believe is best suited to lead us, not just to win an election, but also to form a government and run an effective government. So it is certainly not a sign of a failing campaign. It is just a reflection of what has happened even in the past.
Okay, Agba, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Agba Kumani is deputy spokesperson for the Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia campaign team. I would have wished that we'll continue this debate, but I promise you that somewhere next week or next 2 weeks, we'll bring back the spokesperson and then we'll have a better debate on the performances of their various candidates, the campaigning, the response, the feedback, and how delegates on the ground are receiving their message and who they will vote for come the 31st of January 2026, when the party or the NPP will elect a flag bearer who will lead the party going into the 2028 general election. Gentlemen, forgive me, for want of time, we have to end it here, but I'm sure as the days progress and the election draws closer, Fred and I will invite you, this time around not on Zoom, but in studio for us to, have a proper debate about who best fits to lead the NPP going to the election of 2028. Fred, it's a sad day, and then there's politics for the NPP as well.
It's a sad day, it's politics for the NPP. We've spoken about our former first lady. The NPP has also come up. They have 100 days to their election.
Oh, it's 100 days already?
Today is exactly 100
Today marks 100 days.
We'll
begin a countdown for them.
For a new flag bearer of the NPP. And now, as you said, a number of support, people are throwing their support behind different candidates. You've seen the 63 MPs. There are 87 MPs in Parliament. Out of the 87, 63 have thrown their support behind one candidate. There are 24 more left. For us, out of the 24, we are not too sure of which, who supports who. But it's interesting times. Listening to the various spokespersons, you see how some of them downplay the support which had been thrown by the MPs, and the candidate benefiting from the support. You see how he's excited about this. Sami, when you look at our political landscape, there's no way you can tell me that MPs do not have influence.
They do.
They do have a lot of influence. So when you see MPs declare, because these MPs engage constituents, engage delegates quite often, when you see them declaring for a particular candidate, it gives that particular candidate some sort of advantage. But also, on the other hand, these same MPs, there are a number of people who may dislike them. There are a number of people who may question their competence. So it's not a one-way affair. It could be to the advantage of one candidate, and it could still be to the disadvantage of that particular candidate. So, as I said, 100 days to these elections, and I'm sure in the coming days we'll see more of this.
Interesting days ahead, very interesting days ahead. This has been another exciting edition of The Citiuation that came to you live from our studio here in Accra. My name is Sami Uyafe, and his name is Fred Tete Jabano. And Fred and I joined the family of the late former First Lady, Konadu Rawlings, to sympathize with her, and may the good Lord keep her soul. So we'll come your way again next week. May the good Lord be with us all.
you.